In this episode, we'll be heading back to our main town and building a large redstone factory with the help of terracotta we started making from last episode. The factory will also become our main source of XP too, with a brand new blaze farm. However, before we get into that, I did make some changes over here back in our golden terracotta farm. The main thing being that I did double up these basins, so we are making double the amount of terracotta, or double amount of clay, sorry. And also thanks to a suggestion on the last video in the comments, I also added these belt funnels with a filter on them for 16 each. And I must admit, for some reason, I thought they would take significantly longer going through here to actually cook because they're a pile of 16, but surprisingly no. If anything, they actually cook slightly quicker than individual ones, which is very shocking to me. I don't know if I was just doing something wrong, but at least that has changed. And it now also means that we are no longer piling up clay inside of this item vault, so that's good. I also made some power changes as well, because honestly, midway through me adding that second mechanical press, I ran out of power. And honestly, the main thing was the fact that I had this speed controller going way too fast. And so a surprising amount of the power was being taken up by these chain conveyors. So at least we have an extra 80,000-ish SU left. So plenty for potentially some other things as well. Now, back in the town over here, I do want to place this new redstone factory around about here. And I've placed some spruce logs just to kind of get an idea of where I want it to be. I think this is going to be the middle position of it, because what I do always want to do is extend this road out here so we can potentially cross the railroad here. But that's for a different episode. But in general, I think this area could do with a bit of love. I still need to finish off this road, add the pavement / sidewalks to each side. So I think this is a good spot for it. And I think I'm going to just make a start by just flattening out this land, covering up all the holes, especially this massive one, and figure out exactly how this build is going to look. Also, oh, never mind, the arrow's gone. The arrow is there because I was getting some XP and it was broken, so I had to go get shot by some skeletons a few times. But anyway. And I'm thinking something like this for the base of our building. This kind of center circle part is going to be where we grow our nether wart, which is an important ingredient for redstone. And then going to have our typical kind of create contraptions wrapped around. And then once this building is actually built, I want to place some kind of spawner on top. Yes, with this layout ready to go, I think it's time to head into time-lapse mode. And there we go, that is the general structure of this building done. I did go around and finish off some last bits that I missed in the time lapse, so I added a bit of floor inside and some light sources as well to make sure it's all nicely lit up. Now I still haven't built the actual spawner on top of the roof here, the blaze spawner that is, and I'll get to that once we actually reach that point in our redstone making process. Yes, one thing I haven't actually talked about is how to make redstone, at least in this mod pack. And to make it, you need potion of strength and cinder flower. Cinder flower is really easy, you just get that from netherrack, but potion of strength is essentially blaze powder, which is obviously what we need the blazes for. And then the awkward potion is from water and nether wart, which is what this big area in the middle is for. And I may have to even dig down a few levels to make sure that we actually are getting enough nether wart. Now, of course, one issue is actually making netherrack. And with create and additions, you can do the cobblestone and potion of healing method. But honestly, I feel like this is like kind of, it's over the top for netherrack. Like it's not that big of a deal. So what I've done is I've made my own recipe, which is a mixture of the nether wart, cobblestone, and some lava, and that will make us some netherrack. Now I think the first thing I like to do is get this nether wart farm set up. So we're going to need to head to the nether for that, obviously. And obviously, luckily for us, we have a nether fortress right on our doorstep. But I must admit, I don't actually know where the room for all the nether wart is. I think it might be over here. And there is a skeleton coming after us. So I need to get a sword out before it comes along. Oh my god. Okay, that was close. I do not have great armor right now. In fact, I have pretty much no armor, so I need to really be careful about this. Ow. Okay, good. I did get withered, but that's fine. But here is some nether wart so that we can pick that up. In fact, actually, let me break all of this. I'm going to pick up the soul sand as well, because we are going to need some of that. I also like how there's just this massive crimson tree stem in the middle here. I'm not sure what that's about, but anyway. Okay, that gives us 54, which is a decent amount. And I can always use some more bone meal. And oh, hey, I found another room for us. So this should definitely help at least get our first plot in and ready. So let's head on back. And I did grab about 20 soul sand. I'll have to check my storage to see if we have any more. We definitely have some, but I'm probably going to need more than that. So let's grab some of this sand and we can go and throw it into our soul campfire, because I think this should turn it into soul sand if I'm remembering correctly. Yes, any kind of area of sand will turn into soul sand. So we just wait for that to be done. There we go. And oh, I did not realize actually once you enter that your sight gets a bit dark. Huh, interesting. Yes, I think what I am going to do is strip this floor down so that we can actually probably build a couple of floors for the nether wart, especially considering we're going to need a lot of it for both making the netherrack and the potion itself to actually get our redstone. And I think this depth should be good enough, so I can start replacing the floor here, I think, with all the soul sand that we need. And honestly, placing all the soul sand has made me realize how much of a weird noise it makes when I'm placing it down. It really does sound like a soul, which is obviously kind of the point. That's the first bit of floor done. Of course, I still need to decorate the walls, but I think I'll do that after I'm done with the contraption. And this looks to be about the middle point. So first things I'm going to do is grab a water wheel as well as some water. We can throw our water wheel in and get that spinning. So I think I want it to go the other direction. So there we go. I think I'll throw in a clutch in here so that once the rest of the infrastructure is done, we can make sure that the vaults don't overflow. Of course, we're going to need our mechanical bearing. I think I'm going to continue using some of these terracotta tiles, and we can use some of these mechanical plows to go alongside. I am realizing I should probably not make it go all the way out. It's going to collide into things, although once we get this thing moving, I can kind of decide on that properly. And of course, we can throw a barrel on top, and I'll have this extend upwards as well, ready for the next floor. Especially as that's probably where our portable storage interface is going to connect up to. Can make sure this is all glued together, and then we can get some of our nether wart down. And that's all I have right now, but make sure this is going right way and only placed when the anchor is destroyed. I suddenly realize I should not be using the mechanical plows. Whoops, it's the harvesters I want, not the plows. Okay, let's try that again with the harvesters. There we go. Obviously, none of these are fully grown yet, but I mostly wanted to see to make sure that it's getting all of them, and it looks like it is. So I should probably go grab some bone meal, which we do have plenty of. Grab some extra bones just in case we need more. Stop this real quick and just start spamming the bone meal on the nether wart, but I have just realized that you can't do that. Why do I forget these things? I played this game for this long and I'm just like, oh, let me just do this thing. No, you can't do that. I mean, lucky for us, really, nether wart grows reasonably quickly, but I think what I may do is go to the nether and go find some more, I think, because I think it's going to take a little bit of time, and honestly, I don't really have time today. not at all. Just for context, it's the day before I post the video right now, and as you can tell, I am not that far into the video. That's a tree. Also, I'm gonna be absolutely real with y'all. I forgot these trees are made out of Neverwart blocks. I fully just forgot. My brain just was always like, oh, you know, these are like red leaves or something, right? No, these are effectively a mushroom of sorts, a fungus. So I think this is going to be the easiest way to get the Neverwart that we need. Of course, crushing these down into Neverwart, I think there's only about a 25% chance of getting it. But considering how many blocks I can get from these trees, I don't think that's going to be that big of an issue. Okay, there we go. I've got 3 stacks of those. Of course, we can get a 25% chance of getting 1 nether wart from a block, which to be honest is kind of a little bit unfair in my opinion. I feel like you should at least be guaranteed to get 1, but oh well. Let's head on back and hopefully we'll have enough at least to get most of our farm covered. I think I'm just going to come into my train track maker here and just throw our Neverwart blocks into here. And we did get an extra 56 from that, so certainly better than nothing. Okay, there is our bottom floor covered. Temporarily stop this and then start placing the rest of our soul sand. Then with all that soul sand placed, I can also set up the harvesters that I also need on this floor. Place down some more of our Neverwart. Can grab our portable storage interface, and I think I'm actually going to connect up over here because I think I want to start my create contraptions over here going anti-clockwise or counterclockwise depending from where you're from. But let's make sure this is glued up to the rest, and I left myself a little hole so I can fall down into here still and turn this back on, and it's now starting to harvest all our Neverwart. Make sure to place the spots where it was placed, although that suddenly made me realize that apparently I have accidentally glued the soul sand, so whoops. Let's stop that again and fix the glue situation. Now we should all be good. I'm going to create a little temporary storage over here, just so we can collect any excess Neverwart for me to plant the rest. But that's that farm more or less done. Now, of course, the first kind of step in this entire process, other than the Neverwart, is the need for cobblestone. So I think I'm going to just probably add a little tiny cobblestone gen over here. I don't think I need it to be a very big one. We're not converting the cobblestone really to anything else. So I think what I'm going to probably do is do a 2x2, maybe make that about 6 wide, I think. And we can just do a one-sided cobblestone gen, essentially. Make sure to place our cobblestone on top of our chutes. And I will double up the drills at least, so on the bottom and the tops. Of course, make sure that all of these are connected up with some chain drives. Make sure to waterlog these drills and then have some lava on the side as well. As you know, we obviously kind of need that for the gen. There is our lava as well. I am going to need some power for this, obviously. So I think what I'm going to do is build some more of these kind of pylons as such. And I'm going to probably keep it on this side of the road. Because I think what I'm going to do is hook up from this line, because I've never really liked how that chain goes up there anyway, so I might figure out a different way of doing that. But let's continue this line over here, and I'll probably just line it up with our door. Probably just remove these windows here, have that power transferred to a chain inside. So I can transfer the power to our cobble gen. And there we go, there is that done. And we'll turn this off for now, just so it's not making too much noise. And actually, we can check our Neverwart farm here. It's definitely been producing quite a little bit, so we can fill out the rest of this field at least. With that filled, we can now probably just pull straight from our portal storage interface here, because we're going to need some of that Neverwart and some lava to make the netherrack we need. So I think what I'm going to do here is pull out a belt from the storage interface. And we are going to kind of want this to go in 2 directions, because I need to split it in half. So I'm going to need a brass tunnel. Split some of that going in this direction and some going forwards, because I'll probably move this forwards to perhaps a kind of mixer here, because I can pull directly out of our vault here with a couple of belts, obviously. I think I'm going to place my basin here. I'm leaving a gap underneath it because I need to bring some lava in. Throw on some andesite funnels. Make another belt on the other side here to pull out, as that's where our netherrack is going to come from. Of course, we're going to need our mixer and a way to connect up that mixer. I think I'll just use some chain drives and cog. And then, of course, like I said, I do need to hook up this to some lava, which obviously we do have some lava over at our power station. So probably going to pull directly from this pipe, I think. I have to be a little bit careful to avoid some things in the way. And I'm once again trying to outrun the lava as it's moving down this pipe. Though at this distance, I think it might be a little bit too far now, but that's okay. You can add a pump part the way down. And I did go ahead and convert that tower so that we can have a pump over here. Hopefully that should be enough distance for lava to fill here. Yes, there we go. We got lava in the basin. Okay, so now if we hook up this belt to power here, and of course make sure that the cobblestone gen is reconnected back up. Now I have cobblestone coming straight out into here. And I also need to set up these belts as well. So now when it comes back around, it should just spit it straight out or not. Oh wait, never mind. It decided to randomly just do it now. That's a bit strange. But anyway, we now have our nether wart coming out and going straight into here and making our netherrack. And then just to make sure this continues to make the rack, I'll put that on the side and have it come out of here. You can also probably use this chain drive to get power out of that. There we go. Now, of course, we are going to need our cinder flower, so we are going to break this netherrack down. And I think I'll probably just do this here as well. You can move our belt along, grab some crushing wheels. We'll put in some gearboxes for that. So now anything going through is now turning into cinder flower. Perfect. And now I need to create a separate basin and mixer that also needs to be heated for our nether wart and water, which I guess we're also just going to line up with our crushing wheels over here. I did go grab a blaze burner so I can stick that underneath. We'll make ourselves another mixer. There we go. And of course, we're going to need a basin as well. And I am going to bend this pipe along so that it can meet up with our blaze burner here. Although I possibly may need to add another pump. We'll just stick that right there. And I guess I'm going to place a gearbox here so we can have this one facing down, then also another one so we can actually hook that up to there. There we go. Now that blaze burner is being powered. I'm of course going to need some water for this, so I think I'm literally just going to place a small bit of infinite water source down here. So we can just hook that straight in, although I have to be a bit tactical with this actually if I want it to go directly down. I think actually I might be able to place a bit of encasement there and then temporarily block off our lava so I can take the blaze burner. Do that. There we go. Place that back. Set up our pump down here. Making sure to, I guess, bring some power with a few more cogs in between. So there we go. We got some water in there, although there's also some lava in here, which I don't want that in there. So you can pull that out. There we go. Throw down another gearbox here. We should now have some of these coming out. We need to make sure I put in an andesite tunnel to go into our basin here. And then just like I did over there, I just need to set up our encased chain drive, pull that up to a cog. So now that is making us some awkward potion, which we're going to need to mix with some blaze powder to make our potion of strength. So what I'm going to do here is come up to our roof here, poke a hole in it, because up here is where I'm going to be building our blaze farm. I'm probably going to make it just pretty much a cylinder up here. So I think I'm going to have some belts on each side going out by about 6 and have them all funneled in to a center point to drop down with the help of the belts. And I more or less just want a cylinder of about that size. Then I can just wrap this around some of our industrial plating. And then also a bunch of glass. I'm gonna keep using this weathered iron windows. I use that for pretty much the rest of the build as well. Then of course a roof on top to keep all of our blazes inside. And that more or less done. I've set up some gearboxes on the sides to make sure that all these belts are running. And then I'm pretty much just going to make a bit of a platform here, because we're going to be funneling these guys down into a kill chamber of sorts. We're just going to use some copycat panels here because they're nice and thin and see through them, and I don't even have to put material on them. I think that works just fine. Basically, this platform is going to be essentially a little bit of an AFK platform, so I can actually be close enough to the spawners up there to make the blazes spawn. And then I also need to place a deployer. We can give this a sod, although actually we do need to add a filter to this. This sword has sharpness, looting, and mending on it, so that should kill them pretty quickly and also repair itself as it also gets XP from the blazes. Of course, this needs powering and so does the belts up here. But I think first, before I hook up that stuff, I'm actually going to go get some blaze spawners. And I think the best way to do that is going to be by making a bunch of mine carts, as well as grabbing a cart assembler so that we can place it underneath and grab any spawners, as I did turn on that setting to allow me to do that. And now we do have this one very close to our portal, which I'm going to try and quickly grab before it spawns anything, hopefully. Put the cart assembler in, put a cart in, turn on the lever. And that now means we should be able to just pick that up. There we go, perfect. There's also one over here that needs to do the same thing too. Hopefully I can do it quick enough once again. There we go. Good start, good start. And then I believe there are two more over there, which honestly is really lucky for me. Having this many this close to each other, I feel like is relatively rare. But let's head over this way. We'll grab this one and this one. And there we go. That's 4 of them. That was honestly weirdly painless. I might want to find potentially 4 more at some point, just to give us maximum spawns. But let's put these 4 in for now. Now, I'm not 100% sure how I want to do this, but what I may do actually is do the contraption out here, grab the spawner, and then just place it inside. And do it that way around, rather than trying to place them inside, because I think that's just going to be a little bit easier. I just got to make sure I'm quick enough when I'm coming inside and placing it so that the blazes don't shoot at me. And this is going to get more dangerous as more blazes are spawning. Ugh. Okay, last one from this pile. Quickly put that in. Oh god. Oh god. Okay. Well, there's our 4 spawners in. That went reasonably well, I would say. And now I just need to hook up these conveyor belts, which means passing the power up to the roof here. I think I may just do that over here. And so if I connect this up, it is going the wrong way, so that's a good start. And there we go, there is all the belts heading the right direction and pushing all the blazes into the center. So now, as you can see, they're all here and definitely making a lot of noise. So what I'm going to do real quick is place some chutes underneath this just to start moving things out. With a little temporary barrel underneath. And then I'm going to try and hook it up to that power line as well, I think. And there we go with that. Now if I just turn this around, preferably in the right direction, and then I switch this to an attack mode instead. Ow. That will now kill everything inside. Although apparently that is the wrong sword. Give back. Although actually no, it's not. It hasn't got sweeping edge on it. Okay, well, I guess this radius is bigger than I thought it was going to be. I'll have to be a little bit more careful, I guess, when approaching this thing. But we now have stuff being put into this barrel. We already have a ton of XP and our blaze rod, so that's perfect. I'll have to split this out into separate bits of storage. Now, one other thing I think I'm going to do as well is actually place a fan underneath here, because I would like to bring some power down to this fan, and hopefully that is blowing straight down. So it was indeed blowing the wrong direction, so throw in another gearbox, and now any kind of blazes that gets kind of a little bit stuck at the top there should now just be pulled straight down to the fan, and it kind of prevents them kind of floating as well, so cool. Now, next thing I want to do is bring this belt, I think, along to the other side of the building where I'm going to start putting some of these things together. drop down any stuff coming from our deployer also onto this belt as well. And then I can separate the things out. I think on this side, I'm going to add a brass tunnel, which I'm going to use to essentially split out our blaze rods over here out from everything else. Once again, throw down some gearboxes, some crushing wheels, which will obviously turn those into blaze powder, which we're going to need to mix with the awkward potion. What I think I'm going to do is add a smart fluid pipe and then build a pipe going all the way around, probably just above the conveyor belt, just for the sake of making everything a bit compact. And I can make this probably look a bit more interesting at some point. I think I'm going to place a blaze burner over here with a mixer, take this pipe kind of straight in and on the side there, I think. Although perhaps maybe I'll have it come along here and into the side like that instead. I will of course need to bring in some more lava for this blaze burner, and we can pull off the pipe that we made earlier and put that straight into the blaze burner. There we go. I'm going to add a pump here to hopefully start pumping awkward potion out of there and into this basin over here, which is indeed working. And I think I'm going to once again pull out of here, bring up a pipe into a spout so that I can get the potion of strength to placed on any cinder flower going by. And if I just pull some of this strength potion into here, I should make sure that the awkward potion isn't pulled out. And also do the same over here with the awkward potion to make sure nothing else gets pulled out for any reason. So if I just hook up another pump over here, just start pushing it through. And if I throw some more cinder flower on there again, oh, in fact, actually, I think I may need to reduce this down by 1 instead. Now, if I throw the cinder flower on there, it will now be turned into redstone. Perfect. Now here, I can probably just make a big old vault so we can store our redstone. There we go. Then I also need to store our XP. I'm just going to place like a kind of smallish vault here because I think I do want to potentially pipe this elsewhere, but for now I can just have it all go into this item vault. I think what I'm also going to do is place some additional storage on the lines like this to prevent anything backing up, including over here as well. I think actually I should probably place a brass funnel here instead so that things actually come out a little bit quicker. And one weird thing that does actually come out of our blaze farm sometimes is ash, and I don't want ash. So I think what I'm going to do here actually is a smart chute below just for ash and put some lava down. And hopefully that should prevent any backups from occurring. But yeah, there we go. That's more or less what I wanted. Got my redstone dust building up rather nicely. I don't think I'm ever going to use that much redstone. Now, really the final thing to do is to kind of, spruce this place up a little bit. The floating pipe looks a bit weird, and I'm not entirely sure if I actually want it here. I might reroute it somewhere else. So what I'll do is I'll do a little bit of decorating, including on the outside here as well, and bring you back in to show the final result. Okay, there we go. That is more or less what I wanted to get done today. I wasn't able to finish quite everything, didn't get my pavements in, didn't extend my road down, blah, 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 blah. But I did get the factory mostly done. I placed some of these massive tough bricks outside with some barrels, some grass, some of these azalea leaves, just to add a little bit of color other than red. Then also threw in some fans into some of the windows, as I feel like that's kind of typical to see in some factory settings. I also placed some on top of the roof as well to kind of look like they're like air conditioning or something. And then on the inside, I placed, some redstone blocks down and little bridges over the conveyor belts and a bit of blocks of experience, tank full of awkward potion, and I kind of added some structures around the pipe so that it doesn't look like it was floating so much, and I think it looks alright. Of course, I've got these copycat panels to act as fences as well, so that it looks more like a proper factory environment. But anyway, thank you everyone for watching today. I really appreciate it. Hello to all the new subs from last week's video and beyond. There's been over 150 of you, which is definitely a lot for me. So thank you all for subscribing. I super appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye for now.